Hello, friends and listeners. You got a brand new episode of Watch Skip Plus. We want to be your go-to movie source for insightful and pop-cultured movie reviews. My name is Jose, also joined by my co-host Mike, the WillDaBeast, and our guest Pat, who's returning from the Sundance crew, Sundance episode. If you haven't noticed from the tag, folks, this is the spoilered movie discussion of Ian Tuason's Undertone, which sparked a huge buzz at the Fantasia Fest, was picked up by A24, has the viral marketing campaign, and we're about to spoil the crap out of it. So let me just, Mike, I'll start with you, but you had remarked before in other episodes about how a lot of horror nowadays is very trauma-based. Maybe that's just the state that society and the world is in. It's something that connects audiences because maybe in some way or another, we all have some kind of trauma, PTSD, COVID, etc. But what we find out is that she sort of put her life on hold in some ways because she's caring for her mother, who is essentially, it's hospice care. She's ready to die. They talk about a death rattle, right? And so she's kind of in a weird place. She's broken up with her boyfriend. She's talking to a guy. Ostensibly, maybe they had a previous relationship, but clearly this is trauma. And then we get the horror of the 10 unknown audio clips. As Pat had sort of mentioned, Evil Dead, it may or may not be releasing some kind of demon. But just to start with you, did you think that this was a little too obviously into trauma, like Smile and some of the other horror films we've said, or did they do it more subtly?
I was so caught up in the like true crime horror podcast vibe of it that I wasn't as bothered by the elevated trauma horror side, which usually, you know, kind of irks me off. So it didn't bother her trauma, and what she was kind of going through was just kind of, again, build up for what I really was there for, was to hear the tapes on the podcast. And I hate how they play that. Like, okay, let's get together and let's record for 10 minutes and then we're done. Sorry, that was too much, 10 minutes. We'll do this again. As I would be so pissed if you did that to me as I was watching this.
Also, I think it was a little unclear. Like, I'm seeing the attachments for these audio files and I'm thinking to myself, they're like 3-5 minutes. Just play them. You have a whole hour. But then you do hear Adam DeMarco say, let's go through the waves and there's a little bump. Let's listen to this one, because apparently it's like hours maybe of stuff. So I guess that's how we get past the whole, like, we're only going to listen to 2 and then come back next week. I'd be like, fuck it, rip it all open and then just edit the episode. Right. But Pat, what did you think that they did the trauma stuff subtly and set that up? We should also mention that she finds out that she's pregnant from the boy that she sort of like left or whatever. And that's going to tie into what they're listening to. But do you think that they handled the trauma stuff well, or was it just too on the nose?
I didn't think it was on the nose in the sense that I almost missed it for half the movie. Like, Mike was saying, I'm just thinking like, this is suspense, and where are we going with this Evil Dead like storyline? And also thinking this is like Oz Perkins, so this payoff better happen. Like, this better be a damn good payoff. So it was only afterwards really that I thought about, there's the trauma of the birth or the pregnancy, and then the mom, the guilt around the mom, but also what happened to the mom. I think that's really what I hinted at the first one about myself and the 3 folks with me, my brother, and a couple other Sundance folks, volunteers, is a lot of the discussion that had the mixed reviews was around the ending and what happened to the mom and what that meant for the movie as a whole. I almost missed it. So I would say it's not on the nose.
Okay.
That's a good point. Nice. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Even if the trauma is cliche looking back on it, if that's what you're leading to as well, which would not be unfair. But I'd say like I didn't find it was in your face.
Got it.
Well, the character has to have something in common with what's going on, because she is playing this role. I did love how she's like, we got to get in character. I thought that was funny. And how they had to like get in this. Because she's the skeptic and he's the one who's scared. It's like in those true crime, you always have the, oh my gosh. Oh, girl, you did not tell me that. Just, oh my God. You have one of those, and then one who's telling the story.
Which is what I love about your podcast, by the way. There's no getting in Kiri. You just your wonderful selves.
We're just who we are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
brother.
But it's weird. Every time she said that, though, I would think of I hate to bring him up, but I would think of Alex Jones at his fucking trial. And he's like, that's a character that I play. And it's like, no, it's not a character because you're still testifying under oath as that asshole. So it's not a character. Yeah.
And the skeptic is who she really was. It was, it was what is the term? It's kind of like their beard, what they're using to hide their real feelings is this constant skepticism. So just so much scarring, so much trauma.
Exactly. We mentioned that this is kind of a pastiche of other films. And so Evil Dead is kind of one of them, because when we start to listen to these clips, what we come to realize is it's over this couple. And one of them is pregnant. Of course, the woman is pregnant, folks. Hello. The woman is pregnant, but then she's talking in her sleep, and it's possible there's a possession thing. And so, a la The Exorcist, instead of Pazuzu, we get a demon named, what was it? Adobe.
I have it here in front of me. It is Abyzou. Abyzou. Abyzou.
Oh, okay. Abyzou. I thought it was a Boyu or what?
Abyzou.
Jerry want to be Exorcist. What was it in Exorcist?
Yeah, it is. And what we come to realize is that this god that Adam DeMarco discovers, Abyzou or Boo, whatever, I don't know, is that it's this demon that kind of is vengeful, and it kills your baby, basically.
Yeah.
And so that's where it starts. I think that they sacrifice other infants. Otherwise she gets crazy and she takes your baby. Right. So that starts to heighten some of the fear, and we get this kind of panning and stuff like that. Did you guys like this mythology that they were setting up, Pat? What did you think of this Adobo baby killer?
I liked it, and I could preface it with just a quick, because I have in front of me a quick synopsis on who Abyzou is, if that's okay. It's for your listeners.
Go for it.
So it's real. It's definitely part of mythology of several cultures. In the myth and folklore of the Near East and Europe, Abyzou is the name of the female demon. Abyzou was named for miscarriages and infant mortality, and was said to be motivated by envy, as she herself was infertile. In various texts surviving from the syncretic magical practice of antiquity and the early Middle Ages, she is said to have many or virtually innumerable names. She's often pictured on amulets with fish or serpent-like attributes. That makes me think of Ron Burgundy, a Serpent Woman. Her fullest literary depiction is from the Compendium of Demonology, known as the Testament of Solomon, dated variously by scholars from as early as the 1st AD to as late as the 4th. So
was that her then in the statue? Was that her that we saw that the face was?
Oh my God! Who? First of all, if you are religious, if you are dying, why would you put like a mother, like a Mary type figurine that has all these creepy babies crawling towards a big sex doll mouth, on your, that thing was, why is that in this woman's room? What the fuck?
Because they were cursed. Again, this is Hereditary. This is all shit you've seen before. The family's already been cursed. So it was all happening.
That took me out of it. That the creepiness of that statue was you're just noticing it now, madam.
However, before I actually answer the question, but I will say a little teaser: was the mother really dying?
Well, we're in spoilers.
So
what do you think?
But at that point in the movie, was the mother really dying?
I'm going to start with you, Pat, because as you know, on this podcast, I can interpret the film in the wrong way. Mike has set me straight several times. In fact,
he's the man to do it.
He set me straight on Dolly, because I was like, she's killing all these people. And he's like, no, she didn't have multiple victims. I'm like, what? Did I see the right movie? But I'm dying to hear
I still have to see that movie.
Your interpretation of this ending, because I was a little confused.
Yeah, that's the biggest discussion about is what was that? And it didn't exactly pay off for me.
What exactly happened? What do you think?
Now, going back, calling back to the previous episode where I mentioned that, when I did a call to authority, which is probably not cool, but when I said as a film studies student, but
Nice.
if you go by that, if this guy's following the rules with the mirrors, especially you'll notice that there's actually a climax of mirrors just before that. Suddenly, if you go back and watch it again, there's a lot of shots of mirrors in them. Typically, actually, this has made me think of Haute Tension, High Tension,
Oh, yeah.
the French movie.
Right.
There's a perfect example. The moment that I knew that, and I think this is old enough that I'm spoiling, but that I knew who the real killer was, I'll just say, was when the real killer looked in a mirror at herself. That is a classic, almost cliche that most people don't know. So I start seeing the mirrors because what typically means is that there's two personalities now. And what it's hinting towards now is the killer is actually the protagonist. Yeah. And that the mother was murdered a long time ago and it's even a suggestion that she killed her baby possibly, as well as killed her mom. And now she's in the state of psychosis. And it looks like I'm just about to be possessed by the demon Abyzou.
Because as soon as they played the first tape, it started.
Yeah.
As soon as they played the first tape and they kept giving days and days in between, that's when she went. And that was it, because all you had to hear was the name backwards. Once they started playing the songs backward and forward, and they caught the name, that's when it took her over. And then I think that's the point when she killed her mother. And I don't know how much time, maybe a week. So we see her throughout that week. She was long gone that whole time.
Yeah.
She was long gone the whole time, and then she came out at the end and completely took over.
Yeah, so I think the image of the mom is. I think the mom is supposed to be. That's
it was the Paranormal Activity. It was fucking Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, I think
it took her over just the same as it took over the females in both movies. It's
and then the debate is that we had afterwards, and this is part of, to me, one of the failings of the movie that I couldn't mention in the first one is: does this movie know what it is? It
doesn't. That's part of my problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's like Pontypool. It supposedly has unleashed this to their whole audience.
Yeah.
Now everybody is all these women are getting possessed by this doll. So that's the concept.
So there's that. We see that happen with the podcast because the people start calling in. Yeah. First of all, I love that the guy was like, "Oh, that's the couple that live next door." Bitch, you didn't call earlier to let them know? Like, what the fuck? Why did you wait until the last episode, weeks later? Yeah. But then what happens is we start to hear that, the demon is branching out over the audio waves to possess other people. And so the horrific kind of thing that we're hearing is, picture this, folks, Sicily. No, I'm just kidding. Golden Girls. Picture this, folks. That Friday the 13th, they did it in 2 films where basically somebody's in a slumber bag and Jason slams the slumber bag against a tree. That scene. Yeah, but basically what's happening is these women are getting possessed by this jealous demon. They're putting the babies in a bag and then they're smacking the bag against the wall or smashing I know. And so that's where the boom is coming from, which we as the audience think is it's a ghost. It's coming into the world, but it's really just the babies being killed, right? Now, that is when the sound design ramps up, and I agree. But they could have been doing that a little more earlier in the film.
Does this movie know what it wants? Because even for me, I kind of synthesize it down as, did this movie want to be 1418, which I referred to before? I think that's the right number. The John Cusack film where it's a skeptic who is made to believe that actually no, demons do exist or supernatural exists? Or is it High Tension, where there's no demon, there's none of that. She's just having a psychotic breakdown from the stress of taking care of her mother, becoming pregnant, but alone, a single mom. What is it? And I think that also hurts the movie a bit as well. I think that hurts the ending, because then you're like, okay, so was she possessed? Or did she just lose her mind?
I think it was possessed.
And this how
so here's the thing.
That's the better movie, I think. The possessed.
So this is Kill me if I'm wrong. Let me just take that back. So here is my interpretation about it, and then Mike, you can chime in. By the way, it's called 1408. Did you say that, or did you say 1418?
I said 1418. Thank you, 1408. Thank you. I'm sure that your listeners.
I know what you're talking about, but
yeah.
Directed by Mikael Hallström, who I love. I love that guy. He's
love that
also
movie.
a DP. I think he's also a DP.
Yeah.
But
I can't believe I say I love that movie so much and I can't even get the right numbers. But thank you for correcting me on that. It's
so good. I forgot the title. No, I'm just kidding. Wait, isn't that a Stephen King? Is it not?
It is. It's based on a Stephen King short story, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the interpretation that I thought happened at the end. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're listening to the podcast, a la Evil Dead. There's even a whooshing camera running through the house or whatever. Yeah. So what we learned from the demon is that it started out way back when as killing the babies because it was jealous, right?
Yeah.
But as the ages went through and what we're hearing in the podcast, I don't know why I'm doing all these hands things. I have no idea.
We always talk with our hands. We're always doing
it's like Will Ferrell. What do I do with my hands? But then when we're listening to this podcast, what we're realizing is that there's a pregnant woman who is being possessed by the demon, and that's how the demon is killing the baby while the baby is still inside the mom, right? So after they've released the demon through the podcast and people are calling in and they're killing their babies, what I saw the ending as was mom had not died yet, but because the demon works as being kind of like this envious, jealous mother, the demon possessed the mom and killed the daughter and her unborn baby.
Oh, that could be too.
And the only reason why I thought that was because what's that?
The mom was alive the whole time.
Well, she was in the process of dying, and so she could be possessed, right? But remember, there's that one scene where she came home from her medical appointment and the mother was on the floor.
Yep.
And so I took that to be she was starting to be possessed and maybe was coming out trying to like find her and then, drop dead or something. I don't know. But maybe that's where she killed the mom, right?
It could be the transferring of the spirit from the mother to her at that moment.
Maybe. I don't know. But I just...
But it could be that
with all of that shenanigans of the mom in the mirror, the mom is the vessel for the demon who then kills her and the unborn child. So that's the interpretation I got, but I like your more artistic haute tension, new French wave sort of interpretation of it, because that actually makes it a little more interesting.
Both work.
She is gone crazy.
I looked at it as the demon being fluid, using the mother. Again, it only could take over women, right? So using the mother. But I felt like, and it called me, it seemed as if after the quote unquote like abortion that was done off screen, that's when things, that's when the creature was able to take over, because it might have been a boy. I don't know. So at that point,
did she have the abortion though? Because I thought she made the appointment.
She made the appointment and went, but I think there was it seemed like there was a lot of time in between stuff. Like they were only doing this every week, and so it seemed like we were in this process with them for, I don't know, it felt like a few weeks. So it didn't seem like a 1 week or a short amount of time. So there was things happening in between what we were seeing, which we were only kind of seeing bits in between the recording and then the nights that they recorded it. And the 3 p.m. stuff was really cool and interesting. But again, this, for me...
Or 3 a.m.
Or 3 a.m. All that stuff is just very... To me, this was Hereditary meets Paranormal Activity. That's exactly what it was. But completely, totally no other way around it.
Pat's right about the mirrors, though. Like I noticed that a lot.
I noticed it too, and it did that to her a lot. And then you would see her like one eye kind of look over there, and it seemed like she was starting to split, and she was getting like more and more distraught and angry, especially discussing
and disembodied and stuff. Okay, I like that. But the other thing about the mirrors was she's coming down the stairs, and I remember because I'm one of those weirdos that like looks at everything in the frame. But I was like, why are the letters backwards? And then sure enough, the camera pans over and it was a shot in the mirror. But you know, mirrors are kind of like the alternate dimension, like the other side that we're not seeing. You know, like what do you call it, Prince of Darkness, where you know they crash the mirror. Anyway, Pat, you were going to say.
I will say I'll add a Sundance caveat from experience from the year before. It's possible too, the mirror and all this. We may one day see an interview with the director. Maybe someone brings it up, and he goes, "Oh, I just thought the mirrors are cool."
I know that always makes me crazy.
I know, and the reason why I say this is because Twinless, which I'm sure both of you've seen. I know Mike's seen it.
Yeah, I love it.
And one of the privileges of being Sundance, as you know, is you can talk to the director sometimes, you know, you see them. And I found myself in a conversation with the director. And my apologies, I don't have his name right up the top of my head right now. And I think Jose looks like he's looking, so please.
James Sweeney.
James Sweeney, thank you. And I was chatting with him, and one of my impressions on that one too was getting maybe I need to cool it with the I'm a film student thing is because I said, you know, because it really made me think of like Alain Delon, like Purple Noon or La Piscine, the swimming pool type of movie, right? And him being kind of an Alain Delon character. You know, as you know, possessing other people's and all that. And I was chatting with him, and I said that I kind of got that vibe off of it, and I enjoyed it for that reason. And he was like, "I've never seen those movies," but he was cool about it. But he's just like, "Oh, I've never seen those movies. I know who Alain Delon." I said, "Well, then you should definitely check them out if you have a chance, and you'll see that."
Hey, young filmmaker.
Now you guys can. By the way, I don't want to derail to another film. You could tell me afterwards. You say, "Pat, you're crazy. You shouldn't have said that. It has nothing to do with those." But that's the vibe I had.
You took it a much darker way than I did. I saw it as this poor dude who just really wanted a friend who felt this connection to somebody.
And so, I mean, listen, even though we have three different. Well, actually, you two have one view of it, and I have a different view of the ending. Yeah, it's still something. By the way, one, what doctor calls at 3 in the fucking morning to leave a message? And then two, all the drawings of like the whatever, it reminded me of like the Nun or like the Conjuring. I was like, oh, we're going there, are we? Right? But, hence the whole pastiche stuff or whatever. But like. Or Blair Witch. Right?
That was the one bit of Blair Witch.
But thank God nothing was hanging or nailed to the wall like dead babies. Or like stick figures.
I will say your interpretation. One problem with your interpretation, by the way, Jose, is that that's like more of like a 70s, 80s, almost grindhouse version. I would have thought that the idea that eventually it possesses the mother because it needs somebody so that it can take out its envy on the daughter, and that would be not quite, I wouldn't say a slasher film, but more obvious like a slasher that she's in the period of being possessed. And then I think the third act the climax would have been way more obvious. I was like, what if Oz Perkins made a grindhouse film and then I made that, you know, like, you know,
so the reason why I interpret it that way and maybe think that the writer is maybe more clever than I might be giving him credit is that as they were releasing this into the world and the demon was getting stronger, it has now moved on to killing full-on adult children as opposed to babies, right? Because it possesses the mother and it kills this grown-ass woman. But anyway, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I've seen Paranormal Activity so much. I've seen it as her finally like becoming the beast, and we saw the camera get knocked down, and at that point she was off doing whatever.
I think we agree on this director pulls from everybody. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and not a bad thing
it's true.
Not a bad thing.
There's influences, but hey, friends and listeners, if you have a different interpretation of how this ended, please by all means explain it. Or hey, Ian Tuason, you want to come on and you want to explain yourself?
I would love that. Would be
we would love to do that. So yeah, who knows? I don't know. We'll have to reach out to him maybe. At any rate, any other thoughts? Yeah, that's pretty much it. A spoiler discussion adjourned. Check out our pod roll. We do that in the spoiler free. Check the liner notes, all that kind of stuff. Pat, thank you so much. These are great discussions. We're going to need you for another movie somewhere down the line. So think about it. think about it. Because again, we are asking our listeners to maybe program the rest of the year for us because we're not picking the right movies. We said this possibly on the last
Why do you
episode
think that?
like, well, because they've just been shitty
It could just be the
experiences.
year. It could just be the year.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Oh, so you're not enjoying the films. I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah, and we're
Okay.
and
It
we're
seems
just
like-
wondering, like, are we picking it? You know,
Last
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
I was told we were too nice. This year, people are telling me that I'm too mean because I've shit on a lot more movies than I normally did. So I don't know what it is, if I'm too mean or if I'm too nice or what it is, or I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not afraid of my X-Lax. I will shit on a movie. Okay?
If I don't like
But-
something, I will. But at the same time, I
Yeah.
felt like I had. So last week when it came down between I saw The Bride and he was not into The Bride at all. And I was like, I can talk about this, but I'm going to shit on it. I would rather watch this Dolly movie, which he ended up shitting on. But it was a fun episode. I really enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you never know.
I think the thing is always to be honest. I think what the difference is, this would be my input. One thing I really hated when online journalism became really a thing, like about 10 years ago, was Eat, Breathe, Death movies or whatever, those type of things.
Birth, life, death movies.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one guy there in particular. So he liked to pick directors to feud with. I think it might have been Kevin Smith and I think the guy that did The Revenant or whatever. And he just came off as a total poser to me. And he just loved to, when they made a movie, to sound off on them. And it was almost like he was inviting those directors to engage them too as well. And I promised myself if I ever got into online journalism that I would never do that. I would be honest, but I might be a little bit funny about it. You can be honest about how you feel, but you don't have to be personal about it. You don't have to be mean. But I think you guys have nailed that. So, but if you really didn't like a movie,
I think
I'm saying that if you're packing the movie itself. Yeah.
Well, I think that so much of the film discourse nowadays in the TikTok age is the clickbaity title, right?
Yeah.
Like Oz Perkins should never make a film, or fuck Oz Perkins, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of online film criticism like that where they just want to hate fuck a film, you know?
Now that I have a problem with. I'd be like,
I don't want us to be
don't
that.
do that now. But if you genuinely didn't like the movie, then that's
I almost hate fuck Dolly.
Yeah,
yeah, he did. He didn't like it. It is great.
Like,
it is what it is when we do this. Yeah. It felt like for a while last year we liked a lot of stuff. I don't know. It seemed like we just kind of just liked a lot more than we are right now. And
if you are going to be really negative, make it honest but not personal. And if it's going to be personal, like Pumpkinhead or whatever, just to make it fun then, so it's not mean or anything.
Right.
No, we try not to. We try to be nice. That's okay. That's what I love about film and I love about this podcast is we just want to tell you our experience, what we think. We're not coming at this as intellectuals. We love when you do because you're very smart.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, viewers. I fully admit that I'm probably going right up my own butt.
No, that's why we have guests.
It's another perspective. And actually, I'll finish for my final thoughts. I think actually, I don't want to jump ahead, but
no, I'm done. But
while
I haven't changed. I'm a skip. See this I'm not watch. See this in theaters loud as possible.
I'm a skip.
He's a skip. Go home and sleep. Don't watch this.
Yeah, I'm a watch it in the theaters. If you don't see in the theaters, then maybe skip it. If it's not your thing. And I'd say one last thing I'd say is it would have been interesting. I think it's fine the way it is and all that. And I don't mean that necessarily would have been better, but I would have loved to have seen it done by a female director like Jennifer Kent. For the same reason I love Babadook. When I saw Babadook, I've said this to so many people. Anybody listens to this that knows me, probably I'll hear you saying this again. But when I saw it, I remember I was about 20, 30 minutes into it. I was like, oh, I get this. This is, single mom, overjudged, undersupported, losing her mind. It's the Babadook. It's her contemplating, or as Woody Allen once said, it's not love if you haven't contemplated homicide. Now he's definitely talking about marriages, but definitely that's what's happening there too, is she's losing her mind right over this. And so also that's also a nice final underline of how I tend to think on these things, it seems. But it would have been interesting to see. I wouldn't see specifically Jennifer Kent doing it because she'd probably look at this material and say, well, I already did the Babadook.
Yeah, same material.
Yeah, but I would have loved
to
have seen a female adjacent version of this and see how it was. It's and not again to quote Meryl Streep talking about something similar. It's not that I think it would have been better necessarily. It just would have been a different take on it, and that would have been interesting to see as well. because it is interesting that a male director decided that he would take this very female subject, take that on. That's, you know what, I'll finish with saying, and I mean this non-sarcastically, big kudos to him, because that's some big subject matter to take on, for something that is really a clé de coeur more for women that have to deal with, you know, taking care of elderly family members, the fear of birth, you know, especially if you're doing it alone and all that stuff. Yeah. So,
yeah, it turns out he's actually Filipino.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. This adjourns the movie breakdown. Yeah. Check us out for next week. Are we doing Ready or Not?
No, next Baby Goose. Come on, are we not doing Project Hail Mary?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
I mean, I'd love to see Ready or Not too, but I mean, Project Hail Mary. Come on, it's Baby Goose.
I'm looking forward to seeing Ready or Not.
I am too, and I will see both. So I mean, it's totally up to. I mean, usually sequels, we don't get a lot of listeners on sequels.
Yeah, it's true.
So
actually, we were going to try to have Ryan back for Ready or Not, but I'll let him know, because I think there's a lot of buzz on Project Hail Mary.
It's going to be either the biggest flop or the big hit to kind of.
That's what I've heard. It's like, I think Ryan Gosling might be on a bit of a precipice here. I don't know.
Can I just say this? So I saw a film, all the trailers for Project Hail Mary. I feel like it's a ripoff of a film called Spaceman. That was directed by Johan Renck, and it stars Adam Sandler. But everybody check out Spaceman before you see Project Hail Mary, because I think there's going to be some major overlap.
Oh, is that on Netflix? I never even heard of that.
Yeah. You guys should see it. It's very, very interesting.
And it's
let me just say, when the big spider comes out, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's called Spaceman 2024.
Oh, yes.
Adam Sandler, Johan Renck.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike, parting thoughts.
Yeah, like I said before, get yourself out to the theaters, whether you take your kids, especially not to Undertone, but take them out, take your friends or wife, or this is a great thing to take your spouse to. If they aren't into horror and you are, and they want to see something a little bit more thrilling like mine, I'm totally going to let her to watch this eventually. Yeah, take your kids, your wife to see this, or your husband or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as always, folks, be kind, be open, be vulnerable. That's where the art is. I remembered the tagline this time.
I love your tagline.
Pat, thank you so much. And we will see you guys next week. Surprise movie, Project or Ready. I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on. I love this.
Yes, we need you back for another guest stuff. So
you're so
bye,
smart.
everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.